morning, traders. I am Emily Bonney, the CEO of the Investment Banking Institute and your host here at NewsWare's Trade Talk. Joining me is trading anchor Bill Olson, who brings more than 30 years of institutional trading experience to our program. At Trade Talk, we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Today is Wednesday, February 14th. Will the market show us some love today? That wasn't the case yesterday when hotter than expected inflation data sent stocks tumbling. After starting the week with a record high close, the Dow dropped 524 points or 1.35%. The S&P 500 shed 1.37% and the Nasdaq slipped 1.8%. Bill, let's get into today's action with what is happening in the markets this morning.
Yes, good morning, Emily. I'm watching the S&Ps. We're up 0.6%, 0.60% higher. That's nice. Volatility yesterday was caused by that hotter than expected CPI report. Market's ebbing, though. We're seeing that we saw a little bit of it yesterday towards the close, and it's really refocusing on the timing of those rate cuts. Realistically, if they cut in March, if they cut in May or June, it's not that much of a huge difference, but the plan is still for cuts this year, and it's not that they're saying, hey, we're not going to be cutting. They're still talking about cutting them, so that's really the positive focus, and I think the market's not starting to refocus and think that way. Listen, earnings are going to be in focus today. Tomorrow, we got a host of economic reports scheduled for release. So we got a lot of good things going on. And then, we're looking overseas and we're looking at what's happening in Europe. The DAX is up 62 points or 0.37%. The FTSE's up 71 points or 0.95%. We're looking at the CAC. The CAC is up 45 points or 0.6%, all positive. And, you go over to Asia last night. The Nikkei did fall. It fell 260 points or 0.69%. But remember, it was up 1,000 points the day before. So I'm not really too concerned. That's a little bit of profit taking, if you ask me. Hang Seng in Hong Kong reopened after being closed last few days. It jumped 132 points or 0.84%. China's markets are still closed for that lunar holiday. We're keeping an eye on oil this morning. Oil is, going back and forth between gains and losses. Right now I'm seeing oil trading a little higher. WTI, $77.95 a barrel. Brent's at $82.89 a barrel. Last night we did have that API, American Petroleum Institute report. It was bearish. Today we get the EIA report, and tomorrow we get the IEA's monthly oil report. So a lot going on this morning, but that's what I have for you in terms of a morning market update, Emily.
And Bill, earnings still remain in focus here. We have a number of interesting earnings that came out and some to look ahead to. And of course, we're keeping track of that economic data, but we're going to get to earnings actions first. Bill, what is going on there?
Yeah, a lot going on. Airbnb, ticker ABNB, Apple Boy, Nancy Boy, they missed by $1.23. It was a big miss, but they did it on higher revenue. Look at the stock this morning. It's getting no love. It's down 3.93%. We're talking MGM Resorts, ticker Michael Grace Michael. They beat by 35 cents, and they did that on higher revenue. That stock's down 4.93% this morning. Robinhood, ticker HOOD, Henry Oscar David, they beat by 4 cents on higher revenue. This is a nice report. That stock's up 14%. They, talk about crypto trading helping their earnings. We're talking Kraft Heinz, KHC, Ken, Hilo, Charlie. They beat by 1 cent, but it was done on lower revenue. Kraft Heinz down 2% this morning. Then we're talking Owens Corning, ticker OC, Oscar Charlie. They beat by 36 cents, and they did that on higher revenue. That stock's up 2.9% this morning. Nice. Upcoming this afternoon, we have after the bell, we have Cisco reporting. Cisco Systems, ticker CSCO, Charlie Sam, Charlie Oscar. Their EPS is 84 cents. Expected move is 5.46%. AppLovin, ticker APP, Apple Paul, their EPS is 35 cents. Expected move is 17.24%. Twillo, ticker TWLO, Tom, William, Larry, Oscar, their EPS is 57 cents. Expected move here is 12.77% when they release. So this afternoon, Emily.
And Bill, the next thing we're going to dive into here are the day's economic events. It's important day in and day out to keep track of these. We saw yesterday that, that CPI number had a big sway on the markets. Obviously, that's a big report, but keeping track of all of this day in and day out can help give us clues on what the Fed may be doing next, which can ease the markets sometimes when they feel more confident about knowing what the next step is. So, Bill, what is going on in terms of the day's economic events?
The big report really today is the EIA petroleum stockpiles report that's coming out at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time, 1 hour after the opening bell. API report did show a bearish build in inventories. It's not always a good indicator that API report. So we'll have to kind of wait and see what the EIA says when they release their figures at 10:30 a.m. this morning. We got a number of Fed speak at 9:30 a.m. We're going to be hearing from Chicago Fed Bank President Austin Goolsbee, and then at 4 p.m. Vice Chair of Supervision Michael Barr will be giving a speech. But that's what I have for you in terms of economic reports happening today, Emily.
And the other thing you're keeping track of this morning, as you do every morning, are the day's other market moving headlines. This information and data coming out of things like merger news, guidance news, shareholders meetings, buyback news. You're looking at your FANG stocks grouped together, your Dow 30 stocks grouped together. So, Bill, what else do you see is possibly moving the markets today?
Yeah, I'm just kind of looking at my Dow stocks. I'm showing 3 lower, 27 higher. That's very positive. I'm looking at my FANG stocks. We're showing gains across the board there, which is nice to see. Other sector groups, autos are trading higher. Banks are showing small gains. Drug stocks are positive this morning. That's all good. Retail stocks are a little weak, I will say. Gaming stocks, they're mixed. That MGM really is taking its toll. Other than that, they're positive. Semiconductors look good this morning. Getting into some of the news behind it, something like when you look at these FANG stocks like Amazon, Jeff Bezos sold another 12 million shares. That's about $2 billion worth of stock, and he did that Friday through Monday. Remember, there was a report on Friday that he sold shares on Wednesday and Thursday, so he's doing a lot of selling of the stock, divesting his fortune. Apple, Apple's iMessage escaped the Europeans' DMA regulation. That's positive. Meta Platforms CEO Mark Zuckerberg said he gave the Apple Vision Pro a test, said Meta Quest 3 is better. They got more software for it. So, I mean, and the price tag is significantly lower. So there's a lot of check marks when it comes to Meta and their headset. Talking Dow Jones 30 stocks, Disney, ESPN reportedly agrees to a 6-year extension with college football playoffs. Coca-Cola, there's a rumor out there that Coca-Cola is considering making an offer for Poppy soda brand. And Walmart, ticker WMT, William Michael Tom, there's a rumor out there that Walmart is in talks to buy smart TV maker Vizio, ticker VZIO, Victor Zebra India Oscar. In terms of other merger news, Reliance Steel is going to be acquiring American Alloy Steel, I heard. Let's talk guidance news. GoDaddy, ticker GDDY, Grace David Yellow. They see full year revenue for 2024 coming in 4.48 billion to 4.56 billion. Now the street estimates at 4.56 billion, so that's not great. The ticker KTOS, Kratos Defense, Kilo Tom Oscar Sam. Now their guidance was positive. They see full year 2024 revenue coming in 1.13 billion to 1.12 billion, where the street estimate was 1.11 billion. So you got to like that one. Lyft is really what they're talking about in the guidance, because they issued guidance in their press release, and then they fixed it in a conference call, because in the press release they said that they had expected adjusted margin as a percentage of gross bookings to expand 500 basis points this year, and then in a conference call they said it's actually going to be 50 basis points. It was a typo. Well, at the end of the day, you look at Lyft. It was a good report, and the stock is trading higher by 22% this morning. So, we'll hand it to them. Uber, ticker UBER. They're having an investors meeting today. That's going to start at 8 a.m. I see. A lot of buyback news. Uber shares rally after announcing a 7 billion share repurchasing program. Airbnb, ticker ABNB, they announced a 6 billion share buyback program. Barrick Gold, ticker GOLD, they announced a new 1 billion share repurchasing program. And ticker WAB, William Appleboy, their board approved a 1 billion stock buyback. That's the news that I have for you hitting the tape this morning, Emily.
This is the type of data that NewsWare delivers daily. It's factual, it's market moving, and our alerting functions bring it to your attention as it happens. Go to www.newsware.com now and sign up for the trial and see for yourself the benefits that professional Newswire delivers. It is now that time of the show for the Trade Talk pick of the day. Bill, what do you have for us today? What are you showing some love?
Look at Twillo, ticker TWLO, Tom, William, Larry, Oscar. Earnings are out after the bell. EPS is 57 cents. Expected move here is 12.77%. Look at the call volume yesterday, 16,153 versus a put volume of 10,056, positive. Look at the open interest, 107K versus the put open interest, 69K. Major brokers like the stock for their increasing price targets, multiple major brokers. Now the key here is earlier in January they replaced the CEO, which is not really great news, but at that time they did suggest that their earnings are going to are going to be at the high end of their guidance range. So I got to be positive on that. I'm not going to hold us into earnings because you never know what's going to happen, but I do think I'll be able to pull away with gain here. I just got to get in a good price. To me, a good price, 68.75. I want to get in under 69 if possible. That's so I'll say 68.75 as an entry price, but that's my pick of the day. Twillo, ticker TWLO, ahead of earnings, Emily.
Twillo it is today, Bill. And coming up, we're going to do a recap on yesterday's pick of the day, which was a play heading into earnings as well. So we'll see how that went. Stick with us. But ahead of that, let's take a look at the current breaking headlines that have hit the tape in our hot off the press segment. Bill, take it away.
Okay, what do we see here today? Uber up 6% in the pre-market after announcing that $7 billion buyback. That's huge. Delta Airlines announced a $1.4 billion profit sharing payout. Brunswick, BC, Boy Charlie, Flight Board introduces Flight Air Pro, Flipboard brand of Brunswick Corp. Interesting. Visa received RBI request for information on role of business payment solution provides. I've got to figure what that means. What is this RBI? Something's going on there. Doesn't sound good. Generac, ticker GNRC. Generac sees full year 2024 net sales up 3 to 7% from last year. Generac's one of those things. Whenever there's a big hurricane hitting, that stock just rallies. I know guys that have these disaster funds, and they essentially buy certain stocks, and like they sell insurance stocks whenever they're pending hurricane is coming, especially if it's big. Abbott Labs, ticker ABD, Apple Boy, Tom, they announced the FDA voted in favor of its TriClip system. That's positive. Hershey's and Cadbury chocolate makers are eyeing price hikes to cover, increased prices of cocoa. Biogen, ticker BIIB, they get DOJ subpoena on business operations in foreign countries. Yeah, they're probably, doing payoffs. Can't really do that if you're an American company. That's all I'm seeing this morning, Emily.
Okay, Bill, before we dive into trading on this Valentine's Day, let's do that check-in on yesterday's pick of the day, which was Owens Corning. You did give us their earnings report back up during your earnings rundown that they beat by 36 cents on higher revenue. Revenue for the quarter came in at $2.3 billion. That was up 1% and versus the consensus estimate of $2.24 billion. The boost in sales is credited to a bump in roofing sales. For Q1 2024, the company expects overall performance to result in net sales slightly below Q1 of 2023 while generating mid-teen margins. Bill, you played this one yesterday. I do see it's up today. How did your call work out?
Fabulous. I mean, you look at the facts. The stock opened up 145.29, and it did fall down a little bit, but then it rallied all the way up to 148.61, and it closed at 147.04. Then you look at it this morning after the release, the stock's trading 151.50. That's up $4.50, another 3%. So I made the 1% yesterday, and I walked away. But if I would have held, it would have been another 3% gainer. But Owens Corning, ticker OC, good winner. Very happy, Emily. Very happy. OC, it hit all my marks. So it was good to see a nice gain happen on that stock, Emily.
A nice win. We will check in with you tomorrow about today's Twillo pick of the day. Bill, thank you as always for your expert insight. Join us back here tomorrow and each weekday morning at NewsWare's Trade Talk when we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Again, I'm your host, Emily Vani, here with trading anchor Bill Olson. Traders, you know what to do. Let's go out there and make some green.